Respected friends, Yoga Vaashishtha Maha Ramayanam, great text teaching us about the Brahma Vidya. Here, on demand of Leela to Mother Saraswati to take her to the Girigrama en route, Mother Saraswati has shown her all the lokas that are there in her Chitta Akasha. Now she is showing the Bhuloka with all the solidity seen by us, felt by us of this Bhuloka, yet all this is the Sankalpa Stuli Bhuta only. The Chitta of that Pragnapti Swarupa Saraswati Mata. That Bhuloka Varnana we are seeing. Any number of lokas we see in whatever the shape, with whatever the beings in that, contents in that, all of them are with the Ananta Shaktiman Maya Kalpita on the Adhisthana Brahmatat. With the millions of pots that you see on this earth are nothing but the mud Kalpita by various the pot makers only, isn't it? Mud only Kalpita by the mind of all those pot makers, that means mind only, are all these pots. Adhisthana and Aropita. Adhisthana is Sadvastu, Tad Bhinnam, everything is. Aropita and Kalpita, be attentive, and therefore Mithya, even though it is perceived, even though it gives experiences. That is the Vedantic Sukshma Jnanam we have to grasp. And our goal is to experience ourselves to be that Adhisthana. Adhisthana Rupena, everything is Mithya along with all the Anubhavas. When they are Mithya, then they won't create any samsara. That's how, while living only, we are free from samsara because we realize all that to be Mithya because we have realized the Adhisthana. Adhisthana Vastu Anubhuti is the Vedanta Lakshya is the way and the only way for moksha. Because in the Adhisthana, other than it, there is nothing there to bind it, to trouble it, to limit it, etc. May this intellectual knowledge enter into us. May we start pursuing the Adhisthana within ourselves. Finally, all Vedantic Jnana, Shastra Jnana, if it convinces us to pursue the inner substratum, we are on the right track, direction, path. Let us see today the Sarga 25 in which the Bhuloka Varnana is happening. Om 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 Sahanavavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Bhakti Yoga Dharma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamsharusibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyah Om Yairime Guruvi Purvam Padavakya Pramanatah Vyakhyatāh Sarva Vedantāh Satchastrāh Tān Nityam Pranatosmyaham Om Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tatulyam Ramanama Varanane ओम ब्रह्मानंदं परमसुखदं परब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे समस्त ब्रह्मभक्ति योग धर्म विद्या आचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो देवताभ्यो अस्मद् गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रीरामचंद्र परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्री वशिष्ठादि ऋषिभ्यो नमः। संकल्पः तेषां सर्वेषां कृपानुग्रहेण उपनिषद योग वासिष्ठ महारामायणोक्त ब्रह्मात्मैक्यबोधेन अस्मिन् क्षणे एव मोक्षकैवल्य प्राप्त्यर्थं श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणेतिहास सन्तवाङ्मयोक्त साध्य साधनानुभव सिद्ध्यर्थं तत्रोक्त ऋषिमुनिगुरु गुरुदेवता दर्शनानुग्रहानुभव प्राप्त्यर्थं सनातन धर्मस्य विश्वव्याप्ति विश्व आध्यात्मिक प्रगत्यर्थं धर्म संस्थापकानां नित्य निरंतर दिग्विजयार्थं श्रीराम मंदिरवत् शिवकृष्णादि मंदिरादीनां पुनरवाप्ते तेषु निरंतर शास्त्र अध्ययनादीनां द्वारा भारतवर्षस्य सनातन धर्मस्य बाह्याभ्यंतर शत्रुविघ्न समूल निर्मूलन पूर्वक भारतवर्षे विश्वे च अस्मात् क्षणादारभ्य वैदिक हैंदव संस्कृतेः धर्ममोक्ष पुरुषार्थानां सुसंप्रतिष्ठा अवाप्त्यर्थम् अस्यां कक्षायाम् आगतानां संकल्पित सत्कर्मसु दिग्विजयः तेषां हृदये परब्रह्मादीनां प्रति भक्त्यादीनां द्वारा जन्म साफल्यार्थम् अनेक शास्त्राणां अध्ययन साधना प्रयत्न मध्ये श्री वाल्मीकि महर्षि विरचित श्री योग वासिष्ठ महारामायण शास्त्रस्य श्री वशिष्ठ राम संवाद रूप पारायणम् अध्ययनं साधना प्रयत्न मोक्षार्थं वयं सर्वे करिष्यामहे। मंगलाचरण श्लोकाः। ओम यतः सर्वाणि भूतानि प्रतिभान्ति स्थितानि च यत्रैवोपशमं यान्ति तस्मै सत्यात्मने नमः। ज्ञाता ज्ञानं तथा ज्ञेयं द्रष्टा दर्शन दृश्यभूः कर्ता हेतुः क्रिया यस्मात् तस्मै ज्ञप्त्यात्मने नमः। स्फुरन्ति सीकरा यस्मात् आनन्दस्याम्बरेवनौ सर्वेषां जीवनं तस्मै ब्रह्मानन्दात्मने नमः। दिवि भूमौ तथाकाशे बहिरन्तश्च मे विभुः यो विभात्यवभासात्मा तस्मै सर्वात्मने नमः। ॐ सत्यं ज्ञानमनन्तमेकमजरं नित्यं विभुं शाश्वतं प्रत्यग्ब्रह्मरसायनं सुखगनं पूर्णं परं पावनं स्वात्मज्योतिरनादिमध्यनिधनं मायाविलासैर्मुहुः विश्वाकारमपास्तमायमभयं वन्दे विशुद्धं पदं। ज्ञानादेवात्मनो मोक्षः न तु कर्मसमाधिभिः अज्ञातोऽसौ स्वसदृश्यं सृजत्येवेति कीर्त्यते। ॐ तस्मै श्रीगुरवे वसिष्ठमुनये नित्यं नमस्कुर्महे। विश्वामित्रमुनिं शरण्यमनघं भूयो नमस्याम्यहं। तस्मै वाल्मीकये श्री गुरुतमगुरवे भूरिभावैर्नताः स्मः। पूर्णानन्दस्वभावः स्वजनहितकृते माययोपात्तकायः कारुण्यादुद्दिदीर्षुर्जनमनवरतं मोहपङ्के निमग्नम् आविश्यान्तर्वसिष्ठं बहिरपि कलयन्न शिष्यभावं वितेने यः संवादेन शास्त्रामृतजलधिममुं रामचन्द्रं प्रपद्ये। ॐ श्रीराम शरणं मम श्रीरामायण शरणं मम श्रीवसिष्ठशरणं मम श्रीविश्वामित्रशरणं मम श्रीवाल्मीकिशरणं मम श्रीव्यासशरणं मम श्रीनारदशरणं मम श्रीसद्गुरुशरणं मम श्रीपरब्रह्म शरणं मम। ओम श्री रामचंद्र परब्रह्मणे नमः। वशिष्ठादि ऋषिभ्यो नमः। योग वासिष्ठ महारामायण शास्त्रम तृतीय उत्पत्ति प्रकरणम लीलोपाख्याने भूलोक वर्णनं नाम पंचविंशतितमः सर्गः। What an amount of subtle intellect required to grasp all this. what an amount of patience required, what an amount of Shraddha required, underline that word, to know all these things. These are all the spiritual qualifications, spiritual maturities. When we keep on practicing, gaining them, they come to us. If we don't practice, if we don't try, if we don't like them, these things will be very heavy or very boring or seemingly unwanted. Then what will be felt like wanted? The world and worldliness. Such are the Baddha Jivas, Ajnana Jivas, Mohita Jivas. We are also like that. Slowly we are trying to change our track from world and worldliness to the divinity, to the spirituality. This transformation, this transmutation, this transition is very slow, consciously, carefully. Anytime again, there is a chance for falling back into the old ruts and traps. That's why when we are in the company of Guru and Shastra, they see to it that we are not demoralized, not misguided into the earlier wretched life, and we are kept intact on the path. All in all, within us also, we have to mold our mind and intellects consciously with our love for Adhyatmikata by knowing its glory. It is the giver of moksha. What other reason than this is required? To love this, to respect this, to revere this Adhyatmika Marga, isn't it? For everything in this world, there will be toughness, difficulty. For the one who takes it like that, for the one who takes it as a challenge, as an opportunity, it is an inspiration. So take this as an opportunity to study Shastras, be inspired. And every profession, for somebody, being a doctor is heavy load and burden. For somebody, it's a great opportunity to earn money. For some people, rare people, it's a much more blessedness to alienate the dukkha of so many patients. All are doctors inside their temperament or their equipment, how they have trained themselves. The same way, Adhyatmikata is a allergy also, allergy only to many people. With Adhyatmikata, touch me not. Distance some people maintain. Doesn't even come. Some people touch it, but only that. But some people, it is interesting. Some very rare people, it becomes the predominant occupation. कुछ ही लोग होते हैं जिनके लिए यही सर्वस्व है, यही जीवन है. Isn't it? That's how they have molded themselves. Isn't it? Like, my mind now is not liking Adhyatmikata. I have to make my mind like Adhyatmikata. My life is not now fully Adhyatmika oriented, it is worldly. I have to mold my life every moment to be Adhyatmika. This is how I must realize, I must think, I must feel. Right now I am as Jiva with the Upadhis, suffering all limitations. I have to realize my essential self, freeing myself from all limitations, bondages. ऐसे भावना रखना चाहिए अंदर. Based on that will be our utilizing these opportunities of knowing the truth through study of Shastra. Okay. Now, while watching all the lokas, they have now come to Bhuloka, the Bhuloka Varnanam going on. So, Brahmanda with 14 lokas. That is the entire Virat Purusha Sharira. In him, the Hridaya Kamala is here Varnita described as the Bhuloka. This Bhuloka also has got 7 dvipas with 7 samudras around it. One of the dvipa is Jambhu Dvipa. That one Jambhu Dvipa is again divided into 9 Varsha, they are called, or 9 Khanda. Among those 9 Khandas, one is this Bharata Khanda. There are 9 Varshas. Varsha is not rain, Varsha is not year, Varsha is a khanda. Each of them are separated with the other by the huge, huge mountains. This is how our Puranas, mystical Shastras describe. So Bhuloka, Jambu Dvipa, Bharata Varsha. Again in that Bharata Varsha, Bharata Kande, Meroho, Dakshine Digbhage, Sri Shailasi, Ishanya Pradeshe, how we talk about the Desha and Kala, where we are staying and doing Upasana during our Sankalpas we do. So these are all highly mystical. In trying to contemplate about the earth like that itself, we understand that the entire thing is the Samashti Mana Kalpita. More than that, it is not so real as we think. And gradually only we will grow from the status of taking the world to be real to the taking the world or understanding the world to be Kalpita. Suddenly nahi hoga. धीरे 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 as the sukshma jnana becomes paripakva, buddhi becomes sukshma enough to catch this jnanam. To that extent, slowly from the jagat satyatva to the jagat mithyatva we come. Then if jagat is mithya, what is satya? Brahma satyam. Who is that Brahman? Me only. Jivo Brahma eva na aparaha. So this is how slowly, slowly our small intellect, gross intellect gets expanded and becomes subtle enough to grasp all these things. Accordingly, our identity also slowly we shift from mithya upadhi to the sadvastu. Keep these things in mind. They'll be reminded again and again as and when the time comes, or every time when the Shastra talks about that topic. Okay, now to that Kamala lotus of Bhumandala, the Nala is the Adishesha Bhagavan who is there in the deep Patala Vivara, fifth mantra. Up to this we saw yesterday. है ना कि रसार्द्रम खेब्रमदहंसम रात्रि संकोच भाजनम पाताल पंक निर्मग्न नागनाथम मृणालकम. So rasardram, on this bhumandala navarasas are there ruling the jivas, giving anubhutis to the jivas. है ना navarasas, like when a tiger or lion is chasing that deer, for that deer, that is the bhayanaka rasa, raudra rasa. That's a raudra rasa that tiger is pouncing to kill. So too huge floods come. That's a bhayanaka rasa. When somebody is working tirelessly to achieve something, it's called veera rasa. When there is a lot of joy, laughter going on, it is called as hasya rasa. When there is the aprema that is going on, that's called Shrungara Rasa. When some death happens, some tragedy happens, loss in business, then the Karuna Rasa. Don't you see the Navarasas that are there on the earth continuously? Same rasa may not be there at same time at same place. है ना? Each one, like no Venezuela, Desha, it is in own Bhayanaka rasa. Then the Greenlands, these fellow want to occupy it, America. They are again in the Bhayanaka rasa. When the bombardment happens with the missiles and all that, that's called entire buildings, everything gets collapsed. It's called Bhibhatsa rasa. Bhibhatsa. It can happen at the micro level, entire Bhugola level. Who knows if the third world war rakes up, with the shooting happening by the mad people in whose hands these buttons are there. All the Raudra Bhayanaka Bhivatsa Drishyas we may force to see, like we saw few years back in tsunamis. Every year, somewhere or the other, through the Bhukampas, Then the terrible pandemic, the Karuna Rasa. How many people have lost their friends and relatives just like that? Lakho lakh. Bhapre. That is Karuna Rasa. Wife cannot talk to husband, husband cannot talk to wife. Parents, children are quarantined or separated. They can't even see. Father died, the body is taken. You are not allowed even to see. देखा ना कितना भयानक और करुणा था वो. In front of our own eyes. We forget Vedanta, we forget everything also. Just 3-4 years back. So, Rasardram, Ke Brahmad Hamsam on this Bhumi in the Akasha, the Hamsarupi, Lord Surya is doing his Brahmanam. Ratri Sam Kocha Bhajanam. When the Ratri happens, entire beings quieten themselves from activities. Or the Ratri can be the Pradaya Kala where entire Jiva Koti of the Bhumi go into Avyaktavastha, then the whole activity on the Bhumi like Ratri becomes quieted. ऐसा दोनों तरह you can understand. Patala Panka Nirmagna. So there is a Patala, is a Panka Nirmagna Naganatha Mrunalakam. The Naganatha Adishesha Bhagwan is the Mrunala Nala for this lotus. So lotus with petals you can see, but its Mrunala is inside the Panka, whatever that dal may. So that is Patala, and that Nala is Adishesha, who is supporting the lotus of the entire Bhumi. आदिशेष भगवान के फण पे हम है ऐसे इन अनदर वर्शन इट इज सेड. So many ways why it is said, Swamiji, which is true. All are wrong because the whole thing is projection only. When it is projection, it can be in any way. That's the beauty. A wise person catches this point for which all these are communicated. All these are said. है ना? ये सत्य है कि वो सत्य है. कोई सत्य नहीं, सब झूठ है. सत्य एक परमात्मा मात्र है बस. Vedanti never gets afraid by seeing the variety of confusions in the world. He says, already basically it is mithya. अब उसमें what is right, what is wrong? All are wrong. Like it is first of all it is swapna. When it is projected swapna, this is right, that is wrong. It's only relative. Both are basically wrong. The Jagrata is reality. Same way. Okay. Next. Now we'll start from today, sixth mantra. Kadachidaspadaambodhi kampa kampita digdalam. See, the earth is surrounded by samudra. Kadachit, once in a while. When the samudra does the attack, then the entire Ashta Dala of this Bhumandala lotus get kampita. So Kadachit Aspada Ambodhi Kampa. Ambodhi, the oceans around. Kampa, shaking. Because of that, Kampita Digdalam, the Bhumi with all these Ashtadika is also Kampita. होता है कि नहीं? भूकंपन होते रहता है, वो सुनामी अटैक होता है, साइक्लोनिक अटैक होता है. Once in a while that happens. Only to remind nothing's permanent. Therefore, before the opportunity goes away, that which is permanent, realize it. Then Adhonalagathananta Daitya Danava Kantakam. In the Adhonala of the lotus, there are so many Kantakas are there. Thorns. All of them are compared with Daitya Danava. The Daityas Diti Santana, the Danavas Danu Santana, those Dushta Rakshasas who are always bent upon disturbing the peace of the world and disturbing the good people. So Daitya Danavas are the Kantakas that are there at the end of the lotus niche ki taraf. The lotus is Bhumandala. So Asura Strainavallariya Sambhoga Sukumaraya Prapya Bhubrun Mahabija Hrudayam Bhuta Bijaya. So Bhubrut Mahabija Hrudayam. So variety of parvatas that are there are the secondary बीjas from that lotus flower से जो बीज निकलते हैं. Then these बीjas are supported by the creepers. They are the asura stri that are mentioned there. Then prapya bhubhrun mahabija hrudayam bhuta bijaya. Then tatra, in that lotus, centrally in between, beautifully, there is one karnika. That karnika. Then that name of that karnika of that lotus is Jambu Dvipa iti khyatam vipulam tatra karnikam. So a beautiful karnika is there, which is the Jambu Dvipa. In that lotus of entire Bhugola. भूगोल नामक लोटस के बीच में एक कर्णिका है, which is the Jambu Dvipa. Okay. Sarit Kesarika Nalam. So the Kesarikas in that Nala of that Karnika are all the Saritas, the rivers that are there in the Jambu Dvipa. Nagaragrama Kesaram. So that Karnika has got the Kesara, the pollens. Those Kesars are the Nagara and Grama that are there in the Jambu Dvipa, which we are staying now in. So lotus and Bhumandala compared. That is the Hrut Kamala of the Brahmanda. Nara is called Virat Purush. See that if one can contemplate this way and really see that way, all the small little upadhis, small little happenings in the world find zero meaning in us. You know, the only way to get rid of problems of the world are knowing that they are meaningless. They are not that valuable or worthy for us to attend and get tensed. इसलिए कभी कभी बंदा कोई मूर्ख अज्ञानी बेवकूफ है फिर भी when he devalues the world, he is less miserable than we the so called knowledgeable people, isn't it? He is devaluing carelessly, recklessly. Instead of that, with knowledge, with wisdom, let us, knowing that this all is mithya, that way let us devalue, then is the healthy way. That is how Vedantin slowly understands. Value we can give only to one valuable thing, that is Paramatma Tattva. उसे ज्यादा किसी को भी वैल्यू किया, that aspect will trouble us. Takes time to digest this sublime truth, but we will understand it once we continue this study. So we are seeing the Jambu Dvipa, then Kula Shaileshwaro Tunga Bija Saptaka Sundarim. So in that Jambu Dvipa, the seven beautiful parvatas are there. Kula Shaila Ishwara Uttunga Bija Saptaka Sundarim. This Jambu Dvipa is Atyanta Sundari. It has got Sapta Bijas, which are like the Sapta Kula Shailas, Kulachala Parvatas, the Meru Parvata ityadi. So the Sapta Parvatas that are there on Jambudvipa are unlike that of the Sapta Bijas. In that Karnika. Again Karnika में जो छोटे छोटे बीज होते हैं वो मध्यस्थोच्च महामेरु बीजाक्रांत नभस्थलेम. In between one bija is there which is called as Meru Parvata. It is so tall, so high as if it is touching the Akasha itself. To Sumeru Parvata in the center of the earth, holding the earth intact, so high touching the Akasha, that is like the hub central, it is said. They're all Sukshma, not necessary Stula Rupena we see, but Sukshma Rup. हमेशा ये बात याद रखें, whatever we are seeing Stula is less real than their cause, the Sukshma. Can you listen this? Understand or not? I'm not asking. Are you listening? That I'm asking. For understanding, it will take time. What we see, the things gross, believe them to be real, are less real than their counterpart or causes in the subtle form. Sukshma is more real than Stula. Itna samajh lo bas. So this Sumeru Parvata which is the Karnika, central one, as if touching the Akasha on this Jambu Dvipa. Then comes a Saraha Praleya Kanikam. Again, there are Kanikas are there within it, which are the various Sara. Vana Jangala Dhulikam. The Vana, the forest, the jungles are the Dhuli, the very finer dust in that Karnika named Jambudvipa. Staleshu Amandalamtastha Janajalali Mandalam. In that various thalas, the variety of alimandala, small little micro insects that are there in that Karnika, they are all the Janajala, the variety of beings, human and other. है ना ये जो जम्बो द्वीप में मनुष्य पशु पक्षी वनस्पति है देर आर ऑल दोज माइक्रोब्स that are there in that karnika of that lotus. Lotus is there in that one karnika is Jambu Dvip. In that the nadis are described, parvatas are described, then the living beings are described. The parvatas, kulachaladi. So that is how from a distance ऊपर आकाश से जूम करके पृथ्वी को इस तरह जगन माता सरस्वती दिखाती हुई एक्सप्लेन कर रही है टू लीला. So this is what it is. And that all is in her chitta only. Already said in the very first shloka, कि ज्ञप्ति चित्त स्थितम भूमितलम तदृशतु. है ना ज्ञप्ति चित्त स्थितम. The pure Jnapti Devi with her Jnapti Swarupa, her Jnapti Swarupa, in her Sankalpa only, all these are there. For her, they are only a Sankalpa to be shown to Leela because of Leela's interest and Shraddha in them, and Leela giving reality to it. For Jnapti Devi, though, Jnapti Swarupa Brahman alone is real, no? For her, all these are never there. For the Jivas who are insisting, they are there. This will come tomorrow in our Mandukya Upanishad class. Yavad Hetu Falaveshaha, Tavad Hetu Falodbhavaha. Very sublime shlokas. By now, after listening to these Vedantas, an idea definitely must have come to us that in the Atyanta Sukshma Paramatma only, through Maya, the Sukshma, Sthula, Karana, they're all projected. That's it. All are at the very same place. Where there is Sthula, there alone within it is Sukshma. Within that Sukshma is Karana. Beyond this Sthula Sukshma Karana is Adhisthana. Where? There only. Like where ornament is there, there alone is the gold. Okay? It's only, be attentive, I don't know whether I'll be able to communicate to it or not. It is only change in our drishti because of change in our convinced jnanam. निश्चय पूर्वक ज्ञान से हमारे दृष्टि में बदलाव ही वही जगह जहां हम जगत को देख रहे हैं वहां में परमात्मा का दर्शन कराता है. The convinced high level sublime knowledge is the one which changes our drishti from the sthula into sukshma. There alone where during kala of ajnana we were seeing the sthula. Where I am seeing the wave, there alone with the wisdom, I see the water. When my drishti changes, I see the water where earlier I was seeing the wave. Drishtim jnanamayam krutva pashet brahmamayam jagat. Say it 3 times. Drishtim jnanamayam krutva pashet brahmamayam jagat. Drishtim jnanamayam krutva pashet brahmamayam jagat. Drishtim jnanamayam krutva pashet brahmamayam jagat. That's all. Whole Vedanta Shastras only do one thing of changing our drishti by giving us Sasat Tattva Jnanam. है ना? दुष्टिम ज्ञानमयं कृत्वा पश्येत रज्जुमयं द सर्पम. है ना? When you awaken to the right knowledge, where we are seeing the serpent, there alone is the rope. Because where there was rope, there alone out of ajnana, the serpent was projected and given reality. Next, Jambu Dvipam we have seen, Madhyastha Ucha Mahameru Bijakranta Namastalim, then Sarapralaya Kanika, Vanajangala Dhulika, Saleshu Amandalantasta Janajala Ali Mandala. Up to this is the Jambu Dvipa we have seen. Tam Yojana Shatakaraihi Pratirakam Prabho Devihi Sagarair Brahmarair Vyaptam Dik Chatushtaya Shalibihi. This Jambudvipa, four side, the 100 yojana sized samudras during the Paurnami Kala Pratirakam Prabodhibihi Sagarair Brahmarair Vyaptam. Like the Brahmaras, their four Sagaras, as if touch and come closer to this earth. Dik Chatushtaya Shalibihi. Those who are in the four directions, the samudras. Okay, means from the above or from a Sukshma Drishti when they are watching during the Chandrama Paurnama Samaya, from all the four directions, these samudras are as if consuming this Jambu Dvipa. ऐसा दिख रहा है. During the full moon days, the waves rise and ocean as if consumes the earth. Then, Digdalashtaka Vishranta Sasuram Bodhi Shatpadam. So, in that, again, what do you call it? Jambu Dvipa. In that Kamala, Digdala, all the 8 directions, Sasura Ambodhi Shatpadam. Sasura Ambodhi Shatpadam, all the Devatas, etc. are there, like the Shatpadis, the Brahmara. Okay. Digdala Ashtaka Vishranta. In 8 dishas of this Jambu Dvipa, are like the 8 again petals of the lotus, Vishranta, on that are seated and relaxing, or Sasura Ambodhi Shatpadam, Devata named the Shatpadi, Brahmara, आराम से बैठे हैं. Then Bhratrubir Navabhir Bhupaihi Navada Parikalpitam. Again this Jambu Dvipa, as it was said, by the 9 brothers. The Bhadrashva, Ketumale, Ityadi. By them it is divided into 9 bhagas. One of them is the Bharatavarsha, Bharatakanda. We have seen that. Like in Bhagavat Mahapurana, Panchamaskanda, Uti, nahi, Sarga Visarga Sthanam. In the Sthanam named 5th Skanda, we see all these description. It is Priyavrata who divided the Bhumi into Sapta Dvipas, and then he gave it to each one to one of his sons. And one son, one Dvipa, Jambu Dvipa, again he divided into Navavarsha and gave it to his 9 children. All of that description comes. Then their Santati only keeps on ruling, which is visualized by those who are able to see beyond the bodies. है ना, शरीर का जन्म मरण का अतीत स्थिति को जो जानता है, they will know which jivas are entering into which body, and slowly having grown, what positions they are taking up of the kings and all of that. Very sukshma drishti. And for us it's an ashcharya, later on we accept. But none of these things are accidental. And like nobody knows, suddenly becomes a party national president. We don't even aware of it. But it is our ignorance or we are not aware. But that jiva, in that sharira, is born for that purpose only. Understood? Each jiva, काम छोटा हो या बड़ा हो, वो करने के लिए ही उस देह में उस परिस्थिति में आता है. Like me. So if I am doing this satsanga, the jiva in me is supposed to do it. That's how he is planned for. And you are listening. You also doing this, not accidentally. Why not everybody comes and listens? Why only you? You are chosen for this. Your jivat in you deserves this. That's not seen by the Stula Drushti people. In this way, in the world, who becomes boss, subordinate, who becomes wife and husband, कोई भी चीज accidental नहीं होता. Those who develop those yogic shaktis, they can see there is perfect reason behind every happening. Which patient goes to which doctor, which person goes for his legal case to which lawyer, कोई भी accidental नहीं होता. I'm just telling this an explanation to these things that the 9 of the Rajas have made this Dvipa Jambu into 9 and they ruled and they gave to their children. It's continuing, though superficially we see them in different forms of kings, etc. For example, this fellow Trump, who is creating such a havoc now on the earth, which jiva is there in him? Whoever he may be, he is meant to do all that nonsense. And that has its own consequence. And final consequence of everything is positive one. Because of his havoc, all the NATO countries, Euro countries, Islamic, they may all come together. Who knows? उस एक useless fellow को control करने के लिए they may all come together. While they come together, their mutual enmity will go away. Because of that, their mutual wars will go away. Because of that, the jivas who are there in that country who are supposed to get that peace, they may get it. It's a connection होता है. We know not even 0.01%. It's just an explanation for this sentence कि भ्रातृभिर नवभिर भूपाir नवधा परिकल्पिता. So one Bhumandala, Sapta Dvipa, one Dvipa, Jambu Dvipa, Nava Varsha. It is subsequently divided. Okay. Laksha Yojana Vistirnam, 1 lakh yojanas is the expanse of this Jambudvipa. Akirnam Charajo Lavaihi, filled with the dust particles, the धूल मिट्टी जो देखते हैं. नाना जन पद व्यूह स्थिरावश्याय सीकराम. Many jana padas who are like the bindus, the what do you call, the snow drops, whatever you call them, droplets on the lotus kanika. If you see small little, आप सर्दियों में देखोगे तो बड़े बड़े बिंदु भी होते हैं सुबह सुबह. And within that lotus, in that karnika, very micro drops also we can see. They are all Nana Janapada Vyuha Stira Avashya Ayasikaram. Ayasikara means those droplets. Those droplets are nothing but the Nana Janapada Vyuha, the variety of towns and cities and all of them. That you can see even from flight also. When the clouds are clear, you are able to see uh, not the daytime, afternoon, little later in the evening, sunset के टाइम पे पूरे दूर से ऊपर से small hamlets, all of them towns, you can see them. जो यहाँ पढ़ा रहे हैं, आप विमान में जाओगे तो भी एक आइडिया आएगा. Jumbo Dvipa Varnanam. Now around this Jumbo Dvipa, Jumbo Jet Jumbo Dvipa, what is there? Deepa Tudvigunam Manam Lavarnar Navalekaya Dadatyam Varitam Bahye Prakoshtamiva Kambuna. So Kambu is the hand, Prakostam is the bracelet. Like the hand is covered with the kada. उसी तरह to this Jambu Dvipa covering around in a Valaya Rupa is in its double in its size is the Lavana Arnava, the salty ocean. I told you Sapta Dvipa and Sapta Samudra. So Jambu Dvipa is surrounded by the Kshara Lavana Samudra, double in size. Naturally, it has to be double for it to cover the entire Jambu Dvipa. Valaya Rupa. Okay, जैसे हाथ को कड़ा ऊपर से कवर करता है, that is the example given. प्रकोष्ठम इव कंबुना लवणार्णव. So Jambu Dvipa's double size is the salt ocean around it. This much you understand. Then Around this salty ocean, double its size is next Dvipa. What is it? Tatopi Dvigunam Deham Dadatyavalaya Kritim Jagat Bhutalata Vyaptam Shaka Dvipa Lekhaya. Around this Lavana Samudra is the Shaka Dvipa, Shaka, which is double than its size. Jambuke. Huh? In another version, Jambu Plaksha Shalmali Kushak Pravancha Shaka Pushkara, that different sequence they give. Here this sequence is given. सब कल्पित है इधर से उधर उधर तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है in one of the Brahmanda, one Bhuvala, it may be like this, in another it may be like that. अब प्रभु की इच्छा है किसको कहाँ रखना है कहे वो करेंगे वो. Isn't it? You know, when you put the curd in the milk, the milk becomes the curd. That is the rule. Who made it, Lord? If he wants, he can make it. Otherwise, in the curd you put the milk, the curd becomes milk. चाय बना के पी सकते. अरे प्रभु चाहे तो कुछ भी होगा ना. He can fill in the गन्ने का लकड़ी में pungent taste if he wants, and in the mirchi he may put sweet tomorrow. Who are you to stop? अपनी मर्जी है ना. He is called as ईश्वरा है ना. Who can do it otherwise? कर्तुम शक्यः अकर्तुम शक्यः अन्यथा कर्तुम अपि शक्यः. Therefore, understanding Ishvara and his Maya Shakti, don't get surprised by anything that is described and don't feel that there is any contradiction. In his Shakti, everything is possible. See the Shaktiman through all these happenings and his Shakti. Don't get bothered by all this. It's a wisdom not to get bothered by anything happening in this world by attributing all of them to the Ishvara Leela. जीव प्रारब्ध ईश्वर लीला के अनुसार इस जगत में कोई भी होनी अनहोनी कभी भी हो सकता है. You are seeing in front of our eyes. Did we ever imagine 5-10 years back that a fellow will call a Trump will coming again on the power and do all this nonsense? Did we ever imagine 20 years back that somebody will be coming from some Gujarat state as prime minister and do all this? We never knew. Even the farthermost imagination also it was not there. Then what's going to be after 10-15 years? You cannot see now. Did we ever imagine that science technology grows to such an extent that the artificial intelligence आ गया हो? You just give it the story and character. वो सिनेमा प्रोड्यूस करके अपने सामने रख देगा अभी. No need of actors, nothing doing exactly like cinema. अब क्या परेशानियां क्या क्या हो रहा है देखो इसमें. आगे और क्या होने वाला है. इस वंडर ओनली. तमाशा देखते जाओ. Jambu Deepa around it is the Kshara Samudra, double the size of around it is the Shaka Dvipa. Okay. Then Tatopi Dvigunam Deham Shaka Dvipa Lekhaya Tatopi Dvigunakaram. Around that Shaka Dvipa, double of its size is Dharantyacha Veshtitam. I know, like the Veshti Dharana, Satya Kshira Purnabdi Lekaya Swadu and Shitaya. Very tasty Kshira Samudra is there around this Shaka Dvipa. So Jambu Dvipa, around it is Lavana Samudra. Around Lavana Samudra, double the size is the Shaka Dvipa. Around it is the Milky Ocean, double the size. Then Tatopi Dvigunakaram, this Kshira Sagara ke double size, उसी के चारों तरफ in the Valaya Rupa, Tatopi Dvigunakaram Dharayantyah Upaveshtitam. Supporting it, surrounded it, Nana Janalankritaya, which has got a dense Jana Jivas living there. With which Sharira, we don't know, but they are there. Nana Jalalankrutaya, Kushakhya Deepa Lekhaya. So the third Deepa is Kusha Dvipa. So Jambu Dvipa, Shaka Dvipa, Kusha Dvipa. In the Jambu Dvipa, in the Bharata Varsha, in the Bharata Khanda, in India, in so and so place, you are there and I am here. So this is called Kusha named Dvipa, third one. Tatopi Dvigunakaram Dharayantya Veshtitam. Double the size of this Kusha Dvipa, around it is Dadi Abdhi Lekhaya. So the Samudra of the curds. So Kshara Jala ho gaya, Kshira Jala ho gaya, Kshira means milk, now the Dadhi. Now it has to be understood with subtle intellect. It not necessary that the milk and the curds are physically that is there, but they're potentially there. Anna, it's a subtle vision. Like wherever you see the grass, you can imagine the milk. That is the ability of us. How? Because that grass is eaten by the cows and goats and all. Then they get the milk. That drishti is called seeing the Kshara Samudra. Not necessarily that a milk ocean is there. Somebody asked also, फट नहीं जाता क्या दूध? कितना देर रखोगे? फट जाता है, इसलिए वो स्थूल रूप में नहीं रहता, सूक्ष्म रूप में. Wherever there is grass, you have to understand there is a milk. But you and I cannot eat that grass to make a milk. Only cow can do that. A buffalo can do that. A fellow cannot. Understood? Kshira only. Kshira Samudra. You can understand that is the meaning of Kshira. And wherever there is milk, definitely it will be converted into the curd also. The curd Samudra also is there. इस तरह उसको समझना है सूक्ष्म रूप से, not the real samudra that is. Potentially it is there. Beyond this Dadi Samudra, what is there? Tata Krauncha Vidadvipa Lekhayevam Pramanaya Veshtitam Khatarachaya Navam Rupapurimiva. You know, the very well newly made Rajapura around it for protecting the Rajya. It is very well dug so that the thieves or enemies or cruel animals do not enter. In that way is around this Dadi Samudra, the next of the Dvipam, whose name is Krauncha. So Jambu Dvipa, Shaka Dvipa, Kusha Dvipa, now the Krauncha Dvipa, fourth one we are seeing. Krauncha Avidha Deepa Lekaya Evam Pramanaya Veshtitam Khatarachaya Navam Rupa Purim Iva. Krauncha Dvipa. Okay. Then Tatopicha Kruta Ambodhi Lekaya Evam Pramanaya. Double the size of the Krauncha Dvipa around is the Ghrita Samudra. Ghrita means ghee. Ghee. Whatever you call घी को इंग्लिश में घी बोलते हैं. There is some special word is there. So when there is a milk, it will be churned, then the makhan will come, that you melt. Definitely this clarified butter will be there. Ghee is called clarified butter. Ghrita Samudra around this Krauncha Dvipa. Then double the size of this Ghrita Samudra around it is the fifth of the Narayana Dvipa. It's called as Shalmali. ततोपि च घृतांबोधिलेखया एवं प्रमाणया ततोपि शाल्मली द्वीपलेखया malapurnaya. This Shalmali Dvipa, because of the being staying there, it is full of dirt and filth and mala only. Malapurnaya. Gandagi Sara. You know, like around every city, there are big dumping yards nowadays because of the production of the wastage. So much. Itna sara. Like if you get something online, एक बिस्कुट पैकेट मंगाते हो, उसमें 5 बिस्कुट ही खाने वाले लायक है. But that cover in which the biscuits are kept, the packet in which that is brought to you, and the staple pins, the cellophane tapes, the variety of other things that are there around, they're all dumping only. उसको तो कोई खाता तो नहीं. Like that example. So this is the next one called as Shalmali Dvipa, Panchama Deepa. So Jambu Dvipa, Shaka Deepa, then Krauncha Dvipa, Kusha Dvipa, Shalmali Dvipa. पांच हो गए ना. शालमली द्वीप लेखया मलपूर्ण. ततः, because of that all negative around that Shalmali Dvipa naturally, तथा सुरा महाबोधि लेखया पुष्प शुभ्रया, around it is the Sura Samudra is there. अब डोंट आस्क मी स्वामी बताओ मुझे जाना है वहां, आजकल महंगा हो गया. Sura Dvipa, Sura Samudra is there around the Shalmali Dvipa. The liquor Sura Mahambodhi Lekaya Pushpa Shubraya. Then Sheshasya Dehalataya Harimurti Mivavrutam. It's all like Bhagavan Narayana covered by the Adishesha. Shalmali is covered by this Sura Samudra. Thereafter, Tato Gomedaka Dvipa. Gomedaka is one of the uh, precious stones. That Dvipa is fully filled with these stones. Therefore, that is named after this Gomedaka. Otherwise, in the set of the seven Dvipas, it is called as Plaksha Dvipam. Plaksha, Plakshha. So that Plaksha Dvipa here called as Gomedaka Dvipam. Tato Gomedaka Dvipa Lekhaya evam Pramanaya. So sixth one is the Gomedaka Plaksha Dvipa. And what is the liquid surrounding it double its size? Ikshu Abdi Lekhaya api evam. The Ikshu Abdi, the sugar cane juice. Aha, that is there around it. Himavat Sanu Shuddhaya. So the cool, wonderful Ikshurasa is there around that Rakshadvipa. Six are over. Now only one is there. Tatopi Pushkara Dvipa Lekaya Dugunastaya. Around that is the last seventh Dvipa is called Pushkara Dvipa. Naturally, what is the liquid that left now is Shuddha Jala. Ante Swadu Udakambodhi Lekaya Evam Pramanaya. Double size around it is the Shuddha Swadu distilled water. So Jambu Plaksha Shalmali, Kushakroncha Shaka Pushkara, seven Dvipas. Then Kshara Udaka, Kshira Udaka, Dadhi, Ghruta, Sura, Ikshurasa, Shuddha Jala. These are the seven oceans. So Sapta Dvipas, Swapta Samudras, they are explained. So that she is showing. I know. They are there. Thereafter, beyond that, the 10 times sizer than it is, the Patala, the Vivaras, all of that comes. Then the Pancha Mahabhutas, Jala, Agni, Vayu, Akasha, Maha Akasha, all of them, our mother Saraswati shows and does Varnana to Leela. That 10 slokas are there. Tomorrow we'll see them. Then, having shown all of that, she will take her to that Girigrama. Then, in the next Sarga, Chabis, the Girigrama Varnana, all of that we see that. So, all of them are Chitta Kalpita only. Brahman alone is real. वेदांत ना पढ़ के सोच के मेडिटेट करके समझ कर that subtle truth gets revealed. That whatever I am seeing with whatever its solid form, it's nothing but the projection imagination only on the substratum. Such people appear to be mad to others. जब वो कहते हैं सब ब्रह्म है उसके अलावा कुछ नहीं. Actually, these people are mad who take the projected world real and get lost in it. ये चलता ही रहता है. ज्ञानी को अज्ञानी पागल कहता है और अज्ञानी को ज्ञानी जानता है कि ऑलरेडी पागल है. डोंट वरी अबाउट इट. You and I are studying Shastra, slowly digesting the reality, slowly and steadily. We are not in a hurry. Not that everything we are winding up and destroying and throwing away. वैसा होता भी नहीं वो. आराम से थोड़ा थोड़ा बुद्धि में ज्ञान चढ़ता हुआ हमारी दृष्टि बदलने लगती. आराम से करो, रिलैक्स. Enjoy studying Vedanta and understanding sublime truth. And there is nothing in this world, therefore, for a Adhyatmic sadhaka to be serious, to be bogged upon, or to be worried about, to be tensed, or nothing to be anxious. In doing this study and understanding, one day this body will fall, but I am not going to die. I'll continue my journey of learning and evolving in my identity from the grossest to the subtlemost. इश्यू नहीं रहेगा. अभी वेदांत थोड़ा पकड़ में भी आ जाता है ना. There is nothing in the world as a problem or issue. Only one thing, from the ignorance to the knowledge, from wrong identity to the right identity, we have to evolve. That's it. Bhakti Sahib, it's all not, no, I'm no more bothered. That was a stage where I was caught up in this whirlpool or in that daldal. I'm out of it. I am studying Vedanta. I am at the feet of my gurus and the Lord. They are teaching me the sublime knowledges. मजा आता है एक बार वो क्लिक होने तो. So you and I continue this study. Those grace will come, equip us to understand all this. Have that faith, patience. And with faith and patience, continue the pursuit of the study. The required wisdom comes to us. And don't share it with others, because if they are not at this level of catching it, and if they are fully drowned in the worldly and worldliness, for them it appears to be, you know, impossible and difficult to understand. Therefore, they'll use all their weaponry to demoralize us. They use logic, sentiments, they use emotions, they blackmail you. Everything they will do. बताना क्यों? अब तक तो समझ रहे हैं, व्यवहार में जो करना है कर ही रहे हैं. बस व्यवहार को संसार नहीं बना रहे. That is the greatest achievement. Enough. Neither I am troubling anyone, nor I am getting troubled by anyone. Otherwise, what I have to do, I am doing it. Bizarre बात है ना? Other than that, I am pursuing the Brahma Vidya. That need not be shared with the ones who are not fit for it. That's why in every of the Shastra, आप देखते हो ना, after mentioning the Falashruti, don't tell this to those undeserving people. ऐसा कहते ही आते हैं. Isn't it? इवन सत्य भी कुछ कुछ लोग जो सहन नहीं कर सकते हैं, उनके यहाँ कह नहीं सकते, चुप रहना पड़ता है. Like Brahma Vastu is Satyam. But gurus don't talk about it to every fellow who comes around him. उनके साथ व्यवहार का ही मजा करते हो भी. उसमें से कोई जिज्ञासु है, to him he reveals the truth. That's what the example of Vaashishtha and Rama. Rama from the birth is there with Vaashishtha, Krishna and Arjuna. Krishna and Arjuna are friends from long time. But he did not reveal that knowledge till Arjuna became qualified, deserving and sought it. Isn't it? इस तरह समझ लेना. Thank you. These few shlokas are there in this Bhuloka Varnana, 10-15 of them. Tomorrow we'll enjoy them. Then go to the Girigrama. Om Purnamadaha. और श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. इतना काफी है. धन्यवाद. Now you come to study Vakya Vritti for some time.